California Senate votes to allow parole of violent felons with life sentences. You've committed an awful crime against humanity. I now subject you to life in prison without parole. Oh, and then California Senate, because California loves a criminal. Democrats love a criminal. And they give them parole. What's this look like? Let's check it out. Here we go.
Live at the California State Capitol, where tonight there's an effort by a California lawmaker to let some of the state's most violent criminals, many of them killers, out of prison early. It's a controversial bill that's resurfaced after failing to get support last year. It is Senate Bill 94. It would allow offenders serving life without parole to petition for early release. Good evening. I'm Galston Dark.
Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Lisa Gonzalez. Crime victims tonight are speaking out about what they say is a last-minute effort to get this law passed. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala joins us in studio with what's going on with this, Ashley.
Lisa and Galston, well, I'm told this bill, as is, still does not have the votes to get out of the assembly where this bill is sitting right now. This, according to a spokesman for Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas. The bill's author, Democratic State Senator Dave Cortese, tells me changes to the bill are coming. Now, this bill would allow those serving life without parole to petition for early release if they've been behind bars for at least 25 years or since 1990. This includes those charged with killing up to 2 people. Serial killers and those convicted of killing police officers would not be eligible for this.
Oh, my word. Hey, this individual only killed 2 other human beings. They put people to death in other states for that, for killing 1 person. Includes people who have killed up to 2 people eligible. If you've already served 25 years. But the whole point is to have them behind bars because they killed somebody else. And then you wonder why you got a bunch of criminals running around, right? I mean, make this make sense. In some world, make this make sense. This all just looks like a parody, doesn't it? Serial killers and law enforcement office killers not eligible. Wow. Really went out in the edge on that one, didn't they? Yeah, you know what? Should we let serial killers and cop killers, should we have them involved too? You know, the legislators wanted to have that in there. Oh yeah, everybody. This is an open program for everybody. We're not going to discriminate here. You kill a cop, serial killer, you kill a dozen people, 15 people, 20 people. Who's counting? We'll let them have early parole as well. Wild stuff.
Now, in a statement, Senator Cortese sent us a lengthy one, but here in part, he said SB 94 creates a tough 4-tiered process, and judges will have complete discretion to either leave the sentence unchanged or to refer a case to the parole board and governor for further review. He went on to say most petitions for hearing are expected to be denied. This bill is a conservative approach to those rare cases that exist, which qualify for a merit review. I am hopeful with amendments made to this bill, we will have the votes to send it to the governor this month. Now, crime victims I spoke to, though, are fuming. And with 2.5 weeks left in the legislative session, they say they're shocked this is being brought up again.
All of these people that are going to be affected by this bill, SB 94, are going to feel because they were told over 30 years ago, that these people will never get out. And to one day find out that what that judge told you isn't the truth, that these people are now getting a second chance, is devastating. It is a slap in the face.
Now, I checked in with the governor's office and asked if he had anything to do with the revival of this bill. His spokesman said the office does not comment on pending legislation. Cortese, meanwhile, says those changes to the bill will be made public on Thursday. Back to you.
All right. So that was 9 months ago, and this was kind of beginning of the legislative session. And here we are. California Senate votes to allow parole of violent felons with life sentences. Can you imagine if you were a victim of this and you see this change happening and you're like, wait a minute, what? The dad got killed by that lunatic and now you're going to let him out because of And it doesn't sound like it's going to be a ton of people. But why are we even considering it? Why do these states love criminals so much? Criminal illegal aliens. Love them, love them, love them. criminals, literally running around the country doing this kind of nonsense. California Senate passed a bill that would allow violent convicts with life sentences to be eligible for parole after serving 25 years. And so long as the convict, this was one of the things that we didn't hear in that video, so long as the convict was younger than 26 when the crime was committed. So why do we give a shit how old these people were when they committed a crime? I'm sorry. Your 18-year-old son commits a horrific crime. They should pay the rest of their life. Your daughter, whatever it is. If they committed a crime like that, then, you got to pay. You got to pay. Republicans described the bill as a threat to public safety. Let's see. Allowing folks that we said weren't going to be eligible for parole ever, and now creating a bunch of Mickey Mouse circumstances where you jerry-rig the system and, Jimmy, go ahead. It's all good. Yeah, try not to murder another dozen people. Yeah, because we weren't even considering you a serial killer with those numbers. You need to get those numbers up if you want to be, in the big house forever. They noted individual convicted of serious violent crimes ranging from murders to bombings would be eligible for parole. Murders and bombings. Man. Is this a shocker? No, it's really not, because California has given the green light to criminal actions for years, and this is just one more layer, right? This bill isn't about second chances for petty offenders. It grants early release to some of the most violent criminals, said State Senator Kelly Sayarto, Republican from Marietta, who serves as Senate Republican Caucus Chair and Vice Chair of the Senate Public Safety Committee. These individuals were sentenced to life without parole for crimes so extreme that the justice system deemed them beyond rehabilitation. But hey, if they fit this narrow description of criteria, get out there, Junior. You can do it again. We believe in you. Senate Republicans say one individual who would have been eligible for early release is Sam Woodward. He was found guilty of a hate murder at the age of 20 when he murdered a gay Jewish former schoolmate of his by luring him to a park. Woodward stabbed him 28 times and buried the body. That guy would be eligible. Does that make any sense at all? No, it just doesn't. It just throw justice out. The whole concept of justice reform has just been a massive failure, and keeping going in this direction is not the way you want to go. Some exclusions for the bill are murderers whose slayings were in concert with an attempt or completion of a robbery. So you got robbery, you got kidnapping, rape, sex crimes against a child under 14, burglary, arson, train wrecking, mayhem, carjacking, torture, and killing of 3 or more people at a school or place of worship. So, if you killed somebody in addition, in concert with any of those, we're drawing the line there. We're drawing the line when you torture somebody or you've killed 3 or more people at a school. Can you imagine the discussion they're having? All right, but we got to let Fred go because he only killed 2 people at the school. We got to let him go. Or Susan over there, she murdered somebody in her church. We got to let her go. There's only one person, And they're like, no, not at the church. Or there are, 3 or more at a school. Not at the school. School's off limits. How do you get to this criteria? How do you get to the point where you are saying, you know what, it's okay to murder somebody as long as it fits this criteria. As long as they didn't do it at school, it's okay. If they did it at a 7-Eleven, it's all good. If they did it at a library, 100%, yeah, okay. It's not bad. I mean, just, let them go. Let them go. So they're trying to pass this off as Senate Bill 672 will provide young Californians who were sentenced to life without parole for committing specified crimes before age 26 and who have served 25 years in prison. I don't really care. The whole point of life imprisonment without parole is because you've done something so horrific that's the only place that you should be. Keep the rest of society away from you. Because if you did it once, odds are it's a high probability you're going to do it again. But hey, we believe in you. So get out there, Tiger, and don't murder somebody in the library. The Youth Rehabilitation and Opportunity Act reflects modern scientific understanding and recent California court decisions that highlight the need for the legislature to address this issue. Here's that misguided compassion. Or they just flat don't care. They want to let a bunch of criminals run around, and this is how you do it. This is how you do it. What do you want to bet that there is a ton more folks that get released on this bad boy? Just a bunch of, we let him go. We got to let her go as well. SB 672 is about review, not release. This bill ensures, This bill ensures a balanced approach that considers the rights and safety of victims. So your dad got murdered by a dude, and now all of a sudden you're going to be concerned about the kid's rights and safety of victims, family of victims, by letting out the killer? While fostering a justice system that is supportive of youth rehabilitation and their potential for change. I don't know. I'm of the thought that did it once, probably do it again. Should we take that chance? No. You know what I mean? You make that decision one time, take somebody else's life. Got to pay the process. Got to pay the Pied Piper. So, an analysis by the State Senate Appropriations Committee found 1,634 incarcerated individuals who would be eligible for parole under the bill's provisions. All right, what could go wrong? Let's bypass all the hearings. Let's just hit the green button and go, boop, from incarcerated to 1,634 on the streets of California, and we'll just see what happens. Get out that popcorn. Hey, wow, got some news stories coming. Panel also determined that estimated annual incarceration costs of $133,000 per convict per year. Release of 100 individuals under the law would save $100 million over 10 years in holding costs. What is the price that you're putting on human life? What is the price that you're putting on the impact to the families? What is the price that you're putting on to the victims? They gotta live with this forever. I often say, a lot of times I say this in my head, only way that, to have a 27-year-old son die that is worse than an accidental fentanyl overdose, like my son did, is to be murdered or to have them commit suicide. I can't imagine what that would be like as a parent to have your kid murdered. I was watching a video. It was a Theo Vaughn comedian. I think he's great. He was interviewing Young Gravy, rap artist, contemporary rap artist, right? And they both had old dads, and Young Gravy said his dad was born in 1933, and he must be, I don't know, the kid, Young Gravy must be 30-something years old. So he had a very old father, and the old father, when he was like 16, was walking on the ice in Minnesota, that's where they're from, fell down, whacked his head, and had basically a brain aneurysm and died. And that's like, oh, that is horrific. That is a horrific way to have your father go out. But still, anybody that's concerned with this bill, it's because they had their parent murdered or their family member, loved one murdered, dead. As bad as it is to have your family member fall down on the ice, as bad as it is to have them die from an accidental fentanyl overdose, I'm taking this pill, laced with fentanyl, dead. I mean, horrible, horrific. But those are surpassed in more horrific nature by having your loved one killed, murdered by some lunatic that the justice system is now going to say, that once said, no, we're never letting you out. No parole for you. To then 2025 speed that up. Well, I mean, he was under 26 and he served 25 years. Let's let him out. It's all good because we're going to save $100 million a year by letting 100 of these bats and bastards out. The analysis did not assess how much these individuals would cost the state if they reoffend or the cost of potential future crimes. United States has a recidivism rate of 70% within 5 years, meaning that 70% of the released convicts have reoffend within 5 years. So 1,634 incarcerated killers, 70% of that. So 160, 320, 480. So call it, what is that? 1,050? Is that number roughly correct? I'm just doing the math in my head and it's probably not. So over 1,000 are going to commit a crime, a horrific crime. Just put them out on the streets. 1,000 of them within 5 years are going to commit another horrific crime. Oh, I say, yeah, hell to the no on that. But, what do I know? I'm not a judge, right? I'm not a legislator trying to come up with loopholes for whacked out nut jobs that are convicted killers that should be in jail for the rest of their life. Let's just let them out and we'll see what happens. Plus, it saves us some money. Gotta have that money for the criminal illegal aliens. Yeah. The bill passed the state Senate on Tuesday, a couple of days ago, and now goes to the state assembly. Will that pass? Well, it's California, right? It's California. I mean, just the nuttiness I don't understand. I honestly don't understand. I see things in far more black and white. And, if I had a kid that committed a crime at a young age, and it was a horrific crime, and there are some extenuating circumstances, I don't know. I'd still kind of be like, yeah, but what about that family that their kid's gone? Their individual, their loved one's gone, whatever it is. That one's gone. So just because my kid's paid his dues, served 25 years in the pen, nobody gets rehabilitated in there. But coming out and just letting them come out and, 70% chance of reoffending with a horrific crime, those are not odds that, as a reasonable individual, I'd want to look down the barrel of. You commit a crime like that. And again, we are not talking about traffic tickets here. We're not talking about, well, I took a hammer and I bashed in his mailbox and I got this malicious mischief offense. And we're not talking about that. We are talking about some of the most horrific criminals, killers in the system. And you can see by the way that they broke out, well, not this one. Sex with a child. I mean, you killed him and you had sex with the child. Even in California, that sets a standard where we cannot abide by, that kind of thing. Whole thing is just off its rocker. Other states are still, putting people to death. I mean, here in Washington State, we still have the death penalty. We don't use it. I mean, could you imagine the uproar? They took somebody from one of our prisons and said, "Oh, we're going to kill him." Guy was a horrific, individual, and he got the death sentence. And now we're just gonna, we're going to firing squad him. Could you imagine that in Washington State? No, but they're still doing it. Oklahoma kills a fair number of people. They're like, yeah, eye for an eye. Gonna have to have justice served. You, firing squad. Boom, done. I mean, that's one way to do it, right? All right, that's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.